Welcome to the Dwarven Forge Build of the Month for November of 2020. We were off for a brief hiatus to run our Wildlands Kickstarter, but now we're back and we're bringing the fire because we've got the Hellspawn Hollow made with our magma-infused hellscape pieces. This build was made with 3 sets, an Encounter 1 Crucible Chamber, a Cave Entrance Pack, and an Encounter 3 Core Pack, which is a set that didn't exist in our Kickstarter, but we're gonna make it available in our web store when this launches. All 3 of these sets are gonna be available as a Build of the Month bundle with a bonus gift card, but only for the month of November, so you've gotta act fast. So, the story is, a local fishing village, their pond or their lake, I guess it's a lake, big lake, bubbling, boiling, steaming, all the fish are dying, their livelihood is at stake. They reach out, we need adventurers to come help us. When the adventurers show up, they say, listen, you gotta find out why our lake is boiling, and we think it has something to do with that. There's a big hole in the mountain over there and it's glowing. So the adventurers go check it out, and it's a tunnel, which is inside is glowing like hot magma. So let's see what awaits them down in the Hellspawn Hollow. There's gonna be 2 builds using the same pieces. We do 2 different rooms, so it's like a 2-part encounter. So this is the first part of the encounter. We have 2 pieces left over. Over here we got the big concave bank and the 4x4 floor. And we've done some clever repurposing of a straight magma river as a lava fall. All right, so here's the story. Our adventurers follow that glowing tunnel. And as they get down, the glow gets brighter and brighter, and they realize it's because there's a massive chamber of magma hidden under the lake. What's it doing here? There shouldn't be a giant magma pit here, but there is. Something is amiss, and they have to figure out what. So they'll take in this big, beautiful chamber full of flowing magma, and they'll notice a couple of things right out of the gate. One, there's some sort of crazy, big, infernal devil talisman, something that speaks of Eve or magic, right dead ahead. There is a big perpetual wall of fire in the back here. There is magma bubbling out of the wall and sort of coalescing here. The surface of this is roiling, and eventually if they look at it and investigate, they'll see there's sort of shapes that are dancing and moving or like swimming in the magma. So the deal is, this is a very clever, scheming, spined devil who has he's aligned himself with an efreeti who's in this other room, and he is currently training a litter of fire snakes, right? So these are the young form, the larval form of elemental salamanders. They're simply fire snakes right now. So he is training them to kill like attack dogs. And so right now they're swimming laps in the magma to strengthen themselves and be ready to kill and ravage the upper world, the outside, the material plane. So he's training these guys, and this here, this talisman, it radiates it's enchantment and transmutation magic, and it's affecting them. It's feralizing the salamanders and stunting their intelligence. So it's keeping them basically like really smart, like dogs, right? So they will obey, and they can kind of, they'll follow commands like sick and kill adventurers and stuff. So anyway, so he is. He's got a big batch. So let's say our characters, our adventurers are like level 10 or 11, right? If they're gonna fight an efreeti, they need to be like level 11 or something. So there's just a batch of fire snakes. So let's say there's like 12, there's like a dozen fire snakes in the water. And they don't know exactly how many are in the magma until things go awry. So when they come in, unless they're like super in stealth mode or whatever, like let's assume Gary Gygax just kind of like wanders around. It's like, hey, do you know who I am? I'm Gary Gygax. And not so sneaky. The Spine Devil will see them come in and go, oh, there's interlopers. And say, sick, kill, tell the fire snakes to kill, and then he'll attempt to flee rapidly out and tell the big boss, the big efreeti over there. So if they can't catch him, which chances are he's a long ways away, out of the magma, a dozen fire snakes are gonna, and you can kind of have fun and have them pop out wherever you want out of the magma. They don't necessarily know how many there are at first and where they're gonna come from. And then we have kind of a fun fight in here. Maybe even, or better yet, he could lure them like forward or something, so they're in like somewhere sort of unfavorable when the fire snakes attack, and then it becomes, although I guess he'd probably, no, he's too crafty. He'd get out of there as soon as he could. But it's the terrain is deadly, right? Because I don't know what the rules for falling in magma are, but it's probably you're rapidly dead, right? Unless you've got something
some way to resist fire damage in a big way. Right, magma, no good. You don't want to, I mean, how hot is magma? Like seriously, it's like a bazillion degrees. Like that will just vaporize flesh, right? You just don't, yeah, it's bad news. Don't fall in there. So assuming they slay the fire snakes, or I don't know, use animal friendship on all of them somehow, or would they do something, deal with the fire snakes, they can now kind of explore this room. And so the features, not too much to look at. There's a little nook over here. Maybe we put some sort of clue. Maybe there's eggs. Oh, yeah. That's how we have like salamander eggs over here, like big, right? So they're like big, they're 2 foot obsidian spheres. This definitely totally looks like an egg patch, and they're getting warm over here. So they get an idea, oh, maybe they're hatching, salamanders are hatching, or something's happening here. Over here, this was a great idea when we were doing Building of the Build of the Month live on Twitch. One of the viewers said, hey, you could just use, we were sort of having this come in over here, and there's, hey, if you just pop it up on end, I think it was Finley Shards, said if you pop it up on end, it can make like a lava fall. So we're just using the straight magma river to be like a lava fall here. So over here, there's a wall of fire, which is perpetually up. And the idea is, it was created by the efreet in the other room. And if he's slain or banished, whatever, the fire goes down. And we have some cool treasure in here, right? There's elemental gems that summon fire elementals, or maybe just gems, or maybe there's a lamp that has a djinn, his enemy was captured in there or something. Or actually, no, they hate Marid, right? Instead of djinns, I don't know. There's some fun treasure in here. What else we have around here? There's a little bunch of magma. Did I mention there's some magma everywhere? Magma. And then over on this side, we've got a bank, so they could, if they want, players could sort of either jump there to there, do a thing, or jump here to there, do something. And this is the big deal. They've got to deal with this talisman, which is in the middle of magma all around. It's like a magma donut, right? The worst kind of donut, magma donut. So in the center of the donut hole, the magma donut hole here, this talisman. And this is the thing that's creating these, making these lava sticks extra strong, extra unintelligent, extra dim. And maybe they can't even destroy it in this room yet. Maybe they can sort of sense that it's linked to something in here, but they can't destroy it. Maybe they have to destroy both at the same time. That'd be fun, right? Do something like that. So they're like, I don't know, what are we gonna do? And even just getting over there to investigate it's gonna be like a fun challenge. Maybe they like the mage levitates up, and then they put a rope on him and they push him out, so we can do some arcana, then yank him back by the rope or something. Some sort of shenanigans. Anyway, so they figure out they've got to do something about that, and also figure out why the heck, where's all this magma coming from? It seems like all signs point to the second room of this encounter, down this hallway where the spined devil went. So before we go in there, let's just look at how we built the room. It's a pretty basic build, with the exception of we put some banks here on top. This is the T intersection magma, the T junction magma river. So we just put the banks over that to kind of stop that up and make it a little more irregular. And then over here, there's banks. We've got some regular floors, freestanding wall, and trifecta wall just put up on floors to kind of make fill this area out, make a wall over here. There's banks over here just used as floors. And then I put the little jumpy stone in there to kind of fill it out and kind of bumpy it up a little bit. Clever bits here, just magma, a jumpy stone kind of covering a corner. This was the clever using the river as a lava fall. Oh, and over here, it's using the 1 inch wall kind of thrown in there to make this tiny little nook. It's just wide enough for the wall of fire to go across there, makes a little alcove. Other than that, just using core pieces to do what they do best and build a neat little encounter. So now, as the adventurers head out here to see what's next, I'm going to rebuild this into the second room of the encounter. So this could be like, you give your players a 10-minute bathroom break, go get some chips, do whatever, 10-minute break, and you could, I bet we should time it. Let's see, how long, we take bets, how long is it going to take to change this over to the other build? right, so here's the second encounter built with the same pieces. I have a whole bunch of leftover pieces. So I've got all of these left over. I wasn't quite as efficient in my piece use here, but didn't need them. It's still a pretty huge room built out here. And let's see what happens when the players come in. All right, so our adventurers leave the first room and work their way in here, and they'll discover probably a terrifying sight. Similar to the other room, this one is full of boiling, bubbling magma, just like liquid rock that will just vaporize you if you touch it. Bad news. You do not want to step. The floor is lava. Don't step on it. All right. The other really important features of this big circular chamber are, there's another one of these evil infernal talismans, the center of a magma pond, middle of it. There is, here, this is like this crazy fiery rift, right? This is a rupture right to the elemental plane of fire. Bad news. And over here, they have that spined devil from the earlier room talking to a big old efreeti here, right? Oh, and here's where it gets nasty. Let's say there's 3 full-grown salamanders. Or if you want to be like, maybe not terrify them quite as much, they're like 3 juvenile salamanders. They're not quite CR5 salamanders, they're slightly dumbed down. But like, basically a pretty heinous fight, right? 3 tough salamanders, plus an efreeti, plus the spine devil. Like this is like a TPK unless they can figure things out. Oh, and they also might see that this, if they check out over here, they might see that this magma is actually bubbling out and into the upwards into the wall, and the pressure is forcing out, and that's going out to the other room and spilling out into the other room. So that's how they're connected. So what's happening is this guy, the spine devil and the efreeti are arguing, right? There's kind of a spat, and the efreeti is reprimanding the spine devil for, you let the interlopers discover us or whatever. There's tension there. The spine devil is obviously not so happy about it. Also not in a place to really challenge the big giant efreeti. But they might notice that so then somewhere they'll notice the adventurers, and the spine devil will command the salamanders to attack. And at this point, they might notice the spine devil has a talisman around his neck, and this thing glows when he says it, and that he's sort of controlling the salamanders through that. So there's a couple of things they can do, because if they try and fight head on, it's probably going to kill them, because they're not going to be able to take a bunch of salamanders and an efreeti. But there's a couple of things they could do. One, the efreeti is just going to stand and watch and sort of gloat over the adventurers and start like monologuing, classic villain style, start monologuing at the adventurers while the creatures are attacking. And this is a pretty nasty spot to be over here, because there's so much lava between here and there. And if he wanted, he could use his hurl fire or whatever, sort of throwing fire at them, but he won't. He's just going to sort of gloat and mock them and sort of reveal some of his evil plan. There's very noticeable tension between the efreeti and the spine devil. So the players could use some clever social checks to turn one against the other, right? So the efreeti is reprimanding the spine devil, but the spine devil's got the talisman that helps control the salamanders. So the players could convince him to overthrow the efreeti and turn the salamanders on the efreeti. Or they could destroy this, which will destroy the control on the salamanders, and the salamanders, broken free, will get angry and will turn on the efreeti. Or they could just try and go toe-to-toe with these things, but that's just a bad plan. Maybe there's another third clever way they could do it. Maybe they could taunt the efreeti into killing the spine devil or something, or I don't know. Or maybe they could probably use some clever, or perhaps they could drown the efreeti in flattery and supplicate themselves in front of him and say, "Oh, we want to, you are so great and powerful. We want to serve you." Or so they lure him in so they can learn more about his track, because he loves to talk about himself. He's been alone in this cave with this stupid spine devil, and is definitely looking for somebody to talk to. So either they get these guys to fight, or they break this thing, and so the salamanders will attack the efreeti or whatnot. So the story is they can kind of learn as they start role-playing amidst the combat. It could be kind of lively, right? So in between the things, people are yelling stuff, and they learn it. This efreeti has this rupture to the elemental plane of fire, and it's using it to channel. That's where all this magma is coming from. It's pouring out of this, and it's pumping through here out into the other room. Is using it as a spawning ground for salamander. He brought a bunch of salamander eggs with him from the city of Brass, and is breeding sort of an illicit salamander breeding ground here, and is teamed up with this scheming spine devil that's left the 9 hells and is trying to sort of make his way, get enough power that he can go back and ascend, whatever. And he's got some magic. He stole whatever that's creating these things it's fertilizing. It's making the salamanders stronger, but also lowering their intelligence, keeping them docile, and mind controlling them. So he's teamed up with this efreeti to try and breed this and do whatever terrible things. But of course they hate each other, or they're, he feels like the toadies, so they can work that out. And one way or another, they can hopefully destroy this and or the amulet. And or maybe if they're really clever, maybe someone could like lure the spine devil, or if they capture the spine devil and rip the amulet off. Fast hands monk or a thief could do some crazy sleight of hand bonus action and get the amulet and then take control of the salamanders, whatnot. Then if things go awry, the efreeti's not an idiot and it's going to flee and it's going to go back through this rift. That will close the rift and also drop the wall of fire in the other room so they can get the treasure. Or if they turn the salamanders against him, then they kill the efreeti. That will also close the rift and drop the wall of fire. So when we know they got to take the efreeti down or force the efreeti to flee, and then that will drop this. And immediately, once this seals up, the magma stops bubbling, it starts to cool, and the lake above will return to normal. The fish will come back. The fishing village can return. The adventurers have saved the day, and the like. So, plenty of room in here for a pretty interesting combat, because the huge center of this room is deadly. The salamanders, of course, immune to the fire, so they can just go wherever they want with impunity, but the players are very limited in their motion and their movement. Plus, the efreeti, if they want to fight him, is also immune to fire and can fly, and the spine devil can fly, so they're not inhibited at all by this, the terrible terrain, but it's going to just be, it'll be murder. It'll be hell on earth for the players. But hopefully they can use their smarts to turn the salamanders against the efreeti, drive them out, cool off the magma, and head home as heroes, saving the day, and doing 2 encounters with one collection of pieces. And a pretty quick changeover.
And that was Hellspawn Hollow, a couple of subterranean caves full of magma where a scheming spine devil and efreeti are conspiring to breed some hellspawn, some salamanders to take over the world. And all these ideas came from our building of the Build of the Month, which you can watch live on Twitch every month. And speaking of ideas, you have to let us know how you think the players have defeated the efreeti. Let us know in the comments. While you're going to that, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our Dwarven Forge content, and join the Dwarven Army on social media. Also, all of these Hellscape sets are available as a Build of the Month bundle in our web store with a bonus gift card, but only until the month of November. So act fast. And now, it's back to the anvil.